Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Beta 400, the Brown Skin Human, and of course, Mr. the Fanboy here, back at you with another pro wrestling pay-per-view series review, and this time, this is my review and rant. This is the intro to my review and rant on various Impact Wrestling pay-per-views from 2004 through nine, but most of them will be from 2004 through 7 and 8. But this period of Impact Wrestling, the 2004 through 6 period has some of the best pay-per-views. The 2007 through 9 era had some entertaining pay-per-views, had some entertaining but crappy, but in my opinion, crappy, weird, and stupid pay-per-views. Some of them some of them were crappy because they had either weak cards or they had good cards, but main evented by in my opinion the wrong people. 2007 and 8 are the biggest examples of what I am talking about. So that's why that will be a rant. That will mostly be a rant. But most of the ones from 2004 through 6 were for the most part awesome. But there will be a couple of rants. So my intro, one of my intros, and my outro will definitely be what I'm made of for several, because there were several stupid booking decisions between 2004 and 6, and there were a lot between 2007 through 9 that will never get better again until 2011 and really 2014. So a big 7-year difference, 7-year gap of crap is what we would see. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Is it me? You say you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to get my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity. Trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Hey everyone, it's time for the results portion of my review and rant on the Impact Wrestling 2007 pay-per-view Against All Odds. Let me tell you about this pay-per-view right here. This pay-per-view, I consider it one of the better and best pay-per-views of 2007, but at the same time, it's also one of the worst, because I thought 2007 ratings, wrestling and storyline wise was one of Impact Wrestling's best years. But when it came to booking and storylines, and wrestlers being pushed, and the overall product, I thought the overall product was terrible and stunk. At the time, I defended. I was a huge TNA fan and a huge TNA mark. At the time, back in 2007, I defended most of the trash that was on this show. The main event, Christian Cage and Kurt Angle. This was an awesome feud. However, this is a feud I want to see anywhere else but Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling is not the place I want to see this feud. And that was one of the biggest problems I had with TNA from 2007. In 2007, it got a little better in 2008, but from 2007 through 2013, nothing but WWE, WCW, has-beens, dinosaurs, and veterans taking the spotlight from younger, up-and-coming Impact wrestlers. This is something they would not correct until really they would try to correct it in 2011 through 13, but this is something they would not fully correct until 2014 with EC3, Spud, Magnus, the Bromance, Bram, Anderson, Hardys, and the rest of the wrestlers we've seen since then. And that was the issue I've had with Impact Wrestling during this period. 2007 as a year was okay. But the storylines and booking. And that was my issue here. The opening promo package with Christian Cage was like he said, an instant classic. That was surprisingly good. One of the many times I enjoyed Christian Cage's run with Impact, with quote unquote Impact Wrestling. The Dudley Boys LAX Italy street fight. This was the worst fight. This was the worst match of the night. Match itself was okay, but this was the worst feud during this period. Even as a child, I remember finding this feud underwhelming. Then you had Senshi and Austin Starr with, I think, Senshi defeating Austin Starr. I don't think Austin Starr won any of the pay-per-view matches in this feud. Then what else? AJ Styles and Rhino Motor City Chain match, which is basically a bull rope strap match, only with a chain instead. This was surprisingly a good match. I thought I enjoyed the AJ and Rhino feud, but I thought their turning point match was the best, followed by their final resolution match, and this will be third. And their weakest match was the Elevation X. I didn't expect this to be good because it was another chain match where the chain match stipulation. Well, I've seen good chain matches. The chain match stipulation, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst stipulations in wrestling, because why would you want to limit the usage of the wrestlers? when it comes to pro wrestling, you want to see fast-paced, crazy, explosive action. So why would you want to limit all of that? But that was the issue here. And Rhino, Gore, AJ Styles, but also probably sworn Rhino won this, but AJ Styles outsmarted and defeated Rhino. Chris Sabin defeated Jerry Lynn in a surprisingly awesome 2 out of 3 falls match. When it comes to Sabin and Jerry Lynn, Lynn, their feud at the time, yeah, I like Chris Sabin wrestling guys that were around his age and size. But he works well with the grizzled veteran Jerry Lynn. These two work well together. When it comes to singles matches. Now, if you throw another man in there, yeah, you'll have a great match. But I mean, this was surprisingly a good match too. Sabin defeated Jerry Lynn 2-3 to retain his X Division title. AJ. AJ Przizinski teamed up with Dale Torborg to take on Lance Hoyt and some other baseball player in the baseball match. The baseball match was really basically a tag team street fight. Is basically what it was. Match was short, but it was exciting for as long as it lasted. I think Dale Torborg's team got the win. Next was you had Christy Henry defeating WWE's Big Johnson in a tuxedo match, and no comment here. It was what it was. Like I said, this was another problem I had with TNA in 2007, becoming WWE like, becoming more like WCW, which I wanted, but also WWE's attitude and ruthless aggression eras, and I'm sick of promotions trying to replicate these two eras. I want WCW, ECW, probably the greatest wrestling promotion to ever exist. So, what else? And then you had, one of my favorite matches of the night, the mixed tag team match between Petey Williams and Gail Kim, the baby faces, taking on James Storm and Jacqueline, with Jacqueline and James Storm defeating Petey Williams and Gail Kim. Hated the end result of the match, but like the match and what happened afterwards, where after the match, James Storm and Jacqueline laid out Petey and Gail Kim, but Chris Harris, to the roar of everyone, came out and started loading on James Storm. One of my favorite things during this period, 2007, was Petey Williams, his babyface turn, which happened in late 2006. And here he feuded with James Storm. Later, Robert Roode, then Team 3D, then Scott Steiner, before turning heel again. Then he feuded with Kazarian and various X Division wrestlers before becoming the good guy again and feuding with Steiner and the Main Event Mafia again before parting ways with Impact Wrestling in 2009 because of budget cuts. But what else? And then you had by the way, this is the only match I will be appearing on camera to actually review. All the other stuff will be off camera. Then you had Sting and Abyss, the last rights match. Right after the Team 3D LAX Italy street fight, this was the worst match. Sting and Abyss is an awesome feud on its own. Awesome feud and an awesome match on its own. You don't need all of this overbooking, malarkey, and gimmick matches to put these guys over. I defended all this trash back then, but now looking back, it's just tacky. And just cheap. Just cheap, and match was just stupid. And the whole concept of the match was putting someone inside a pig. Then you have the main event, Kurt Angle versus Christian Cage. This was a pretty good fight. This was a pretty good fight, but this wasn't the wrestling clinic I expected from these two, and it just wasn't believable. You expect me to believe that Kurt Angle couldn't beat Christian Cage, and you also expect me to believe that Kurt Angle struggled with Christian Cage, and Kurt Angle, he's a better wrestler, but for some odd reason throughout most of the fight, he tries to go toe to toe with Christian Cage, even though Christian Cage in the storyline is shown he can trade blows, trade punches with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle didn't start using his wrestling prowess to like midway towards the end of the match. Midway towards the end of the match, then Cornette before the match, then there was some plot holes. Cornette before the match said, at the beginning of the pay-per-view, said Christian Cage will automatically lose the title if any of his cronies, that Styles, Tom Cone, and later Steiner, interfere. All three of those guys interfered. They didn't touch anyone because Joe, who was the special guest enforcer, prevented them, but they all got involved anyway. And it was their distraction which allowed, it was all of that distraction which allowed Christian Cage to hit Angle with the pipe, Nitty and Prettier for the 1, 2, 3. I remember as a kid being mad. I wanted Kurt Angle to beat the living daylights out of Christian Cage. Now as an adult, still mad, but I'm more so mad that these two were the main event of an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view in 2007. That's what I'm more angry about several years later, watching this event several years later. So yeah, this was the off-camera results portion. On camera, only the Petey Williams and Jacqueline match will be quote-unquote reviewed. So with that being said, I'm finished for now. Get ready for the off and on camera match reviews. So with that being said, I'm done. Now time for my review of three of the Impact Wrestling Against All Odds 2007 match. Didn't feel like playing any footage in the background, and didn't want to talk that long about the matches, and didn't feel like rewatching all these matches to talk about them in their entirety. I thought about skipping them, but I'm like, no, I like these, and I should include them in the review. The first was Senshi versus Austin Starr. This was a pretty good match and was one of the better feuds during this period. I think they had better matches at Destination X and their best at Lockdown. But this was a good match right here. Both men hit several big maneuvers, several big signature maneuvers. The match ended in controversial fashion where Low-Key and Aries rolled each other up and both their shoulders got counted down for the 1, 2, 3, but referee considered Low-Key the winner. Austin Aries got mad and tore up the arena and demanded the match be restarted. Bob Backlund tried to come out and calm him down, but Aries attacked him. Bob Backlund put him in the crossface chicken wing. Next match was AJ Styles and Rhino Motor City Chain match. Surprisingly, this was a good match. I enjoyed the AJ Styles and Rhino feud. This was the peak of AJ Styles' Impact Wrestling career. After this, he would have several good matches and feuds, but he would just become a generic dinosaur wrestler. He was no longer this cool, new, hip, young, innovative wrestler anymore. This would be the last great feud he would have, and that was with Rhino. Rhino. I thought their first match at Turning Point was the best, followed by their Final Resolution Last Man Standing match. Then this match right here. Usually hate chain matches or any form of strap matches because one of the coolest things about wrestling is crazy explosive action. Why would you want to limit the action in the ring? Why would you want to have a device or something that limits the action in the ring? But it turns out Rhino did it. It turns out they didn't harm the match at all. And this was surprisingly a good match. AJ Styles won the match when he outsmarted Rhino, and Rhino gored himself through the table, allowing AJ Styles to take the advantage with the Pele kick, winning this match. and finally winning this match to Miami get his revenge in the crappy Elevation X match they would have at the next pay-per-view, Destination X 2007. Yeah, then you had Chris Sabin versus Jerry Lynn, which was surprisingly an awesome match. When it comes to Chris Sabin, I like wrestling guys his age and guys his size. I didn't think you could pull off a good singles match with Jerry Lynn. If you put one of my other wrestlers in there, it's okay. It's okay. But I didn't think you had a good match for Jerry Lynn. This was a surprisingly good 2 out of 3 falls match. Sabin defeated Lynn 2-1. Sabin won the first one. I think Lynn won the second one, and Sabin won the third one to take it home. So that was that match right there. Yeah, I think Christopher Daniels, yeah, he got involved. He got involved setting up their match at the next pay-per-view, Lockdown 2007, where I think Jerry Lynn and Daniels wrestled. So Daniels debuted a new, more darker, brooding version of his fallen angel character. So that was this match right here. So now for the rest of the matches. So with that being said, let's get to it.
Dale Torborg, the strength and conditioning coach for the Chicago White Sox, he's no stranger to the ring. Dale Torborg, former professional wrestler, you might remember he was the Kiss Demon in WCW. Lynn Hoyt, great leg extension, drop kick right in the face of Torborg.
Well, you got to wonder how lucky Torborg is that we know Lynn Hoyt has really taken this personal. He really wants to shine in this, and look at how he's just taking it right to him. And I want to mention something else, though. Everybody asks me, everybody that I know, Don, is AJ Brzezinski really that big of a...
I was surprised looking back at this match several years later how good this match was.
Yes, I can't believe it. You think it's all that. AJ Brzezinski, there's a reason why he's the most hated man in baseball. The guy really is a jerk.
Brzezinski with the distraction,
special event, tag team special event matches, and that's what this match felt like on this card right here. Right here, the match again start off with Lance Hoyt unloading on Dale Torborg.
Not even surprising when you think of it coming from him. You see David Eckstein trying to explain to the referee what's going on with the referee, trying to keep Eckstein from getting in the ring. Brzezinski just threw that big Lance Hoyt right into the rail, showing a good incredible streak right there by AJ Brzezinski. Brzezinski continues the assault on Lance Hoyt. David Eckstein at that point, when he was with the referee, he wasn't doing his man Lance Hoyt any favors. That distraction with the referee away from the scene enables, yes, Team Brzezinski to take control of this matchup. Well, I mean, David Eckstein wouldn't know. He thinks he's doing the right thing there. He thinks he's telling the referee to go over there, and all the referee is seeing is somebody trying to get in the ring that doesn't belong. And all that did was, like you said, Mike, it cost him. I mean, it cost Lance Hoyt because AJ Brzezinski took advantage of it. Obviously, Dale Torborg thought he well because, I mean, you saw what he did. The kind of things that could cause major damage, going into the rail, into the ramp. I mean, anything that he could do to hurt Lance Hoyt, AJ Brzezinski did.
I keep flashing back to that situation recently on Impact. We saw it all go down. The problems we've seen between these two. Johnny Damon, even from the Yankees, sticking up for World Series MVP David Eckstein. You talked about when they tore up the children's book that David Eckstein has. Even his brother Rick Eckstein got involved, if you recall, DW.
Oh, absolutely. It was just the biggest sign of disrespect you've ever seen. And, oh, you saw Torborg to get a little payback on one half of the former tag team AMW, James Storm.
Oh, beautifully put. Petey Williams, right before our very eyes, Don, in the past couple of months, has become a man. It all started with LAX, the flag-burning incident, and then Petey sticking up for Gail Kim and trying to take the fight to James Storm. Because if you think about it, from the time that AMW dissolved as a tag team, Petey Williams has been there to fight the good fight against Storm. And David Starnoff in this big tag team match. And this Tennessee Cowboy, he's just too much.
I remember when LAX did everything that they could to force Petey Williams to desecrate the American flag. And he showed us that
Jacqueline I like as a wrestler, and as a person, but as a person I don't see. From what I hear about from other female wrestlers, likes to work stiff in the ring and dislikes to be a bully, but she's one of the tougher, legit wrestlers, which is one of the main things I like about her. That she wasn't a Barbie doll like everyone else, but she's stereotypical
Miss Jackie Moore.
girl, bully, tough
Boy, getting
girl,
right in the
bully,
face of Petey Williams.
Well, one thing I've heard about her, she's not afraid of anybody.
So it's really easy to root against her in this match with Gail Kim. Then you got James Storm. You got James Storm. I love James Storm, but I always thought of the young Impact Wrestling talents at the time, I thought the other wrestlers, especially his partner Chris Harris, were better. But unlike those guys, who most of those guys ended up being released earlier or just got mad and left early, James Storm stayed, and as such, he improved and got his push. James Storm is one of those wrestlers, in my opinion, the older he got, the better he got. And now he's one of the best in Impact Wrestling currently. From 2011 onward to now, he's been one of Impact Wrestling's best wrestlers. But yeah, so once again, I like him, but I like Petey Williams more. So it's real easy to root for Petey Williams and Gail Kim over the two of them. The match started off with chain wrestling, James Storm hitting the headlock on Petey Williams reversing it to a beautiful standing Hurricanrana, Hurricanrana to the joy of the crowd. James Storm's being tagged in with Jackie. Jackie comes in, she tries to clothesline on Petey Williams, picks her up for the atomic drop and drops her leg and tags in Gail Kim. Gail Kim starts doing stuff to her. During this tangle, James Storm is able to get the advantage, and he's able to hit several moves on Petey with a hit Petey Williams with a brutal lariat, which caused Petey to hit a flip when he sold it. Then he hit the Eye of the Storm on Petey and several other moves, including an underhook side buster on Petey Williams. Petey Williams did one of the main things I like watching Petey Williams wrestle. He hit his moves. The tilt-a-whirl into Russian leg sweep. The tilt-a-whirl into flying head scissors. The springboard Hurricanrana off the top rope. The drop kick to the person on the ropes. The signature stomp on the person's balls while he says the Canadian national anthem, the sharpshooter, and finally we finish it up with the Canadian Destroyer. Except he just did the tilt-a-whirl. He just did the tilt-a-whirl. He just did the tilt-a-whirl and tried the Canadian Destroyer, but Jacqueline got involved. Gail Kim got involved, and he had seen, and they both exchanged elbows. Gail Kim hit him with the flying head scissors, followed by a scoop slam into knee drop. James Storm, Jacqueline pushed Gail Kim into James Storm, and that's how, and Jacqueline took the advantage. They 1, 2, 3, and that's how Jacqueline won. That's how Jacqueline and James Storm won. The match ended in anti-climatic fashion afterwards. James Storm and Jacqueline continued to beat him on Petey and Gail Kim, but Chris Harris, to the roar of the crowd, came and started unloading it on both of them, sent both of them packing. So, yeah, this was the best match of the night, in my opinion. That's why I'm on camera. Everything else, I'm going to be off camera for. So with that being said, I'm finished.
He literally has to go over there to get a tag into Gail Kim, just so that he can catch his breath. And I don't know that you want Gail Kim in the ring right there with James Storm.
Well, let's see if
main event. Christian Cage and Kurt Angle. That's coming next.
Referee Charles raising the arm, and boy, it just drops right down at 2. Perfect. Really worked out for him at that point. Able to avoid the contact, and at the same time, the challenger Kurt Angle, his shoulder met the steel.
Well, and that's what Christian Cage has got to do. He's got to have a little luck. Sometimes it just takes a little luck. And you think of the damage maybe that Kurt Angle gets right there to his shoulder. Christian Cage is going to find out. There's Joe.
Lost. I was an adult.
I think
as
Christian
an
Cage
adult
realizes
not
he's
watching,
going
so
to
I
have to beat
still
Angle.
enjoy it.
Hangman
Enjoy
style
this
neck
feud. I
breaker
hope that
outside
can
on
these
the
two
arena
on the main
floor.
event of the
Oh man, the back of Angle's
the
head.
Impact
As you can
Wrestling
see, Joe, the
pay-per-view
concern
in
on his face as he gets up.
2007. These two former
Straightening out to get up.
WWE superstars.
Don't lose this. He can see it now.
WWE
Christian Cage waving him off. Saying, hey, understand why you're out here, but don't interfere.
Were
Joe
main
acting as a
eventers
cheerleader,
over
providing
established
inspiration to
Impact
Angle.
Wrestling
Because
stars
bottom line,
at the
Samoa
time.
Joe wants to
So
face him for
that's
the
the
world
problem I
title
have
next
with
month
this
at
match
Destination X.
several years later.
Right
several
there,
years
I'm going to look at
later.
this.
The second
Christian
issue I
Cage
have
turned
with
this
this
thing
match, while it
around.
was a
He
pretty
knows
good
he's got
match,
Angle
a
reeling
good
down,
fight,
applying the
that was
feet
it.
right to
It
the
was
neck
mostly
of
a
Angle,
fight with
taking that
lots
air
of,
out, taking that oxygen
brawling,
out.
with
He
lots
knows
of
that if Kurt
brawling,
Angle can't
and,
breathe, he can't rough it. And that's exactly what Christian Cage
interference
wants.
in the
Total
match. You know, this
completion of
part's a
this
problem
matchup
because
turned
Dave Cornette
when
said if any
first
Christian's
Angle went
been
out
Styles,
into the
Tom
steel
Cole,
post,
Steiner, they
then
interfere
outside the
against
ring,
them.
the neck breaker by
Christian
Christian
Cage
Cage,
immediately loses.
and it has been all the champion from that point. And now,
they interfere in the match. They didn't do much in the match because Joe
and as we
pushed
look
special
over the
guest
shoulder
enforcers
of
and
the
they
unofficial
didn't do
enforcer
stuff in the
Samoa
match,
Joe,
but they
we see
interfered
how this
in the
match
match.
turned
They just
in
didn't
favor
finish
of
all
the
out
champion
Christian
Christian
Cage.
Cage.
And look how he just continues to stay there on the neck. He continues to cut off the windpipe there and just apply that pressure. He knows
The other problem I
that
had
this
with
is a
this
way to
match
beat Kurt
was
Angle. You've got to take the
Christian
strength
Cage
out of him. You've got to
also
sap it out
is a
of
pretty
him.
good
So
wrestler,
that Kurt Angle
pretty
can
good
set him up for
talker
his
on the
finisher. That
mic,
prettier than
he's
it's so
the
vicious when
best.
he hits it dead
But
hard.
as a
Props to
wrestler,
referee
he
Andrew
just
Thomas. You
isn't
can see how
believable.
close he's
He just
watching
isn't
Christian
believable.
Cage
You
to make sure that he
expect
wasn't
him to be
choking
Olympic
Kurt
gold
Angle.
medalist,
Oh, he
struggled
sidestepped him
with
and then
Christian
flung
Cage,
Angle
and
directly
Olympic gold
outside onto the
medalist.
arena
He
floor.
chooses to
It
fight
just takes
Christian
a
Cage
little luck sometimes, like I mentioned earlier. He
Christian
got out of the
Cage
way
can
just in
brawl
time.
with the best
Angle
of them.
crashes into the steel ring post,
Christian
and
Cage
it's
can
been
brawl
all
with the
Christian
best of
Cage.
them.
The
So,
world champion has
yeah,
it
he
in
didn't
total
start
control
trying to
right
use
now.
his
It's been a tale of two matches. Opening minutes, Paul Angle, and then the Christian Cage comeback. And again, the champ knows, just like the challenger did earlier, you've got to beat him inside the six-sided ring. Pulls Angle back in, and now he's going to get a little bit of payback here. The open hand slap and the mid-ring slam.
Just scooped him up and slammed him down right there as he tried to humiliate him in the process. And now the confidence, you can see the confidence growing right there in Christian Cage, but he missed it. And look at him cut his face flush on the man.
Exactly what happened. Went for the diving headbutt and went nose first right to the canvas.
Yeah, that
A little too
segment
cocky
in
right
Raw
there. He
was
posed.
better than the
Sometimes that's
match
all you
here.
need is
It was
1
better
second to
than both
recover,
of
and
the
that's what
matches.
Kurt Angle
It was
did.
better
And
than
now
the
they're
match
just trading
from,
blows.
Yeah, check out this exchange. First from their knees, and now both men up to their feet, and Angle unleashes the uppercut, and then the front face locks in and guillotine him.
Oh, you just do not want to ever give Kurt Angle the momentum back. Christian Cage made a serious mistake, and you can see Kurt Angle now. But every second he's getting his breath back, his fire, his power.
Angle puts on the brakes. I think Christian thought he went into the corner. Angle didn't, and just tosses the champ down. Here's the pin. Here's two.
Oh, Christian Cage fights it off.
Great move by Angle. Took the far leg so that Christian couldn't get the ring ropes and get the break on that pin attempt. Now, Angle, backdrop suplex. Maintains his grip, maintains his control. He's going to take him up again.
You can see right there, Christian Cage realizes, oh, it's got to be a helpless feeling to be in that grip. And now look at this, he's got him in a belly-to-belly form. Can he slide him over? Oh, here he goes. Oh, he went for that Olympic slam, but he couldn't do it.
Instead, Christian floats over, unprettier on the way.
Here he goes. He's lined up. Oh, no.
Ankle.
He got him in the ankle.
Perfect counter. You drop down onto the unprettier, you hook onto the ankle, and you twist and turn, and it's going to make the, oh, man.
That three-handed Thomas just got climbed over the top of.
Christian Cage life and death to make the ring moves that he did. Thomas never saw it. He had his back turned, and he kicked him right between the uprights.
Oh, he did. Now he stepped him up again. And he hits it. He hits it. And he hit him with a low blow and then the unprettier. This could be it.
No, turns him over.
Christian Cage. 1, 2. Oh, mistake. Kurt Angle got the shoulder off.
Fighting on fumes. The
Like a million faces, I recognize them all. And one by one they all become a number as they fall. In the face of reason, I can take no more. One by one they all become a black mark on the floor. Is it me, you say you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. up by the name. Let me show you just what